I thought the worst day of my life was the one I buried my wife. I was wrong. My name is Robert Hayes. I'm 58 years old, and this is the story of how my own son-in-law tried to bar me from my daughter's wedding, and how the truth about why he did it nearly tore our family apart. If you enjoy real-life stories like mine, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. People say time heals, but that's not true. Time just settles. You learn to live with the empty chair at the table. That's what life looked like after my wife, Anna, died 5 years ago. It was just me and our 2 kids, Lily and Noah. Lily was always my little shadow. She followed me around the garage, sat on the concrete floor drawing. When Anna got sick, Lily stepped up in ways a young woman shouldn't have: 2 hospital appointments, medications, late-night drives. We went through hell together. So when she told me she'd met someone she wanted to marry, I wanted to be happy for her. His name was Jason Miller, polished, polite, smart. He worked in finance and drove a car that cost more than my first house. The first time Lily brought him over, he shook my hand with just the right amount of pressure and called me sir. I didn't trust him. Not for any one reason, just something in the way his eyes slid over my work boots and old flannel shirt. The way he talked more to Lily than with her. The way he answered questions with charming stories that never actually revealed much. Still, Lily was glowing. She laughed easier around him. She seemed lighter. I told myself my discomfort was just a father thing. Nobody was ever going to be good enough for the little girl who once held my hand crossing every street. When they got engaged, I did what fathers are supposed to do. I hugged her. I shook his hand. I offered to help with whatever they needed. Lily cried when I told her I'd been setting aside money over the years, nothing huge, but enough to cover some wedding costs. She threw her arms around me. Dad, you don't have to. I know, I said, but I want to. If you'd told me then that the same man whose hand I shook that night would later try to erase me from that day entirely, I would have laughed. The first crack in the foundation showed up in small ways, like when Lily would say, Jason thinks it might be less stressful if you don't worry about the planning. He doesn't want you overwhelmed. Or when Jason would joke, you've done so much already, Rob. Let us handle the modern stuff. I tried not to be sensitive. I told myself they were just trying to take the pressure off an old guy who still used a flip phone until recently. But little by little, I went from being part of the conversations to hearing about the decisions after they'd been made. Weeks turned into months. One evening, Noah came by and found me sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a stack of bills. You okay, Dad? He asked. Yeah, I lied. Just thinking about the wedding. About everything. He hesitated. Lily said Jason wants a smaller ceremony. Something curated. The fact that my own son had to ask tightened something in my chest. Of course, I said. Why wouldn't I? Noah shrugged. I don't know. Jason just talks like he's running the show. I brushed it off then. I wouldn't be brushing anything off much longer. The day everything cracked wide open started like any other Saturday. I was in the garage, sorting through old boxes, labeled with Anna's handwriting, when my phone buzzed with an email notification. Subject line, Final Wedding Guest List. I wiped the dust from my hands and opened it, expecting to see my name near the top, maybe next to father of the bride. What I saw instead made my vision blur. There, in clean, impersonal font, was a list of names. Jason's parents, his colleagues, Lily's friends. Noah. My name wasn't there. Not once. Not as Robert Hayes. Not as Dad. Not as anything at all. And attached to that email was a note from the venue coordinator, forwarded by mistake. Per Jason's instructions, please ensure bride's father is not added to the seating chart or processional. There are family sensitivities he'd prefer to avoid. Family sensitivities. That was the moment the floor dropped out from under me. My own son-in-law was trying to bar me from my daughter's wedding, and I had no idea why yet. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember walking back into the house. All I remember is the pounding in my ears, like my heart was trying to break out of my chest. I sat at the kitchen table staring at my name more, rather the absence of it until the words blurred. Family sensitivities, like I was some embarrassment, a liability, a problem to be managed. For a long minute, I just sat there, fingers trembling, jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Then something inside me snapped into focus. I called Lily. She didn't pick up. I tried again. Voicemail. Fine. I'd go to her place myself. I grabbed my coat, keys, and the printed email. I drove faster than I should have, tires crunching over the last of the winter frost. My mind ran in circles, panic, anger, confusion, looping over and over the same impossible question. Why? When I pulled up to Lily and Jason's townhouse, their cars were both in the driveway. My stomach twisted. I walked up and knocked, trying to steady my breathing. It wasn't Lily who opened the door. It was Jason. He smiled, casual, controlled, irritatingly calm. Rob, everything okay? I held up the email. Why the hell am I not on my own daughter's wedding guest list? His expression didn't even flicker with surprise. That was the first red flag. Rob, he said lightly, there's been a misunderstanding. Cut the crap. My voice shook. You sent this to the coordinator. You told them not to add me. You barred me. Why? His jaw tightened just slightly. Let's talk inside. No, I snapped. I want to talk to Lily. At that exact moment, she came down the stairs, hair pulled into a messy bun, wearing an oversized sweatshirt. She stopped when she saw me, eyes wide. Dad, what's going on? I turned to her and handed her the papers. You tell me. She scanned them, color draining from her face. Jason, what is this? He stepped forward smoothly, too smoothly. Babe, I was going to tell you. I just didn't want to stress you out. Stress me out, she repeated, voice rising. You removed my father from the wedding. He hasn't exactly been stable, Jason said carefully, glancing at me as if I were a ticking bomb. I blinked, stunned. What? Jason sighed. Lily, your dad has been overwhelmed. He's grieving Anna. He's emotional. I just thought you thought, I cut in. You thought you'd make decisions about my relationship with my daughter. Rob, he said in that patronizing, corporate tone, you've been struggling. I've been surviving. My voice cracked. There's a difference. Lily stared between us, confused, hurt, trying to piece together a puzzle she didn't even know existed. Jason, why didn't you talk to me? He pinched the bridge of his nose. Because you're too close to see it. He's unpredictable, Lily. I took a step forward. Unpredictable how? Jason didn't look at me when he answered. You yelled at the florist. You snapped at the photographer. You argued with my mother at dinner. My stomach dropped. I didn't yell. I corrected a mistake on the contract. And your mother insulted Anna's memorial. Lakatu know that. Jason shrugged like none of it mattered. Point is, it's been unsteady. So I thought a smaller wedding, a wedding without her father. Lily whispered. This was the moment everything began to unravel. Babe, Jason said softly, reaching for her, I'm trying to protect you. Planning a wedding is stressful enough without drama. Lily recoiled from his touch. Jason, she said, my father has never once caused drama in my life. If anything, he's the reason I survived Mom's death. Her voice shook with emotion. You don't get to erase him. Jason's composure cracked than just a hairline fracture. His eyes hardened. Lily, we talked about keeping things elegant, clean, structured. You know your dad doesn't exactly fit that image. My breath froze. Image. That was it. Not mental health, not overwhelm, not drama. Image. He was embarrassed by me. Lily realized it at the same moment I did. Her eyes flared with betrayal. You didn't want him there because he's not what? Wealthy, flashy, from your world. Jason opened his mouth, but the answer was already written all over his face. That was the second red flag. Lily shook her head slowly. Jason, what else have you done? His jaw tightened. Nothing. Everything I've done was for us. For us. She laughed bitterly. You lied. You made decisions behind my back. You tried to cut out my family. That's not for us. That's control. I felt something inside me crack, not because of what he said to me, but because of the look on my daughter's face. The look of someone seeing a person clearly for the first time and realizing she didn't like what she saw. Jason's voice dropped cold. Lily, don't overreact. Her eyes filled with tears. Don't tell me how to react. He stepped toward her. If he comes, I swear. What? She demanded. You'll what, Jason? Bar him again. Embarrass him. Embarrass me. He didn't answer. That was red flag number 3. The moment Lily's breath hitched, I reached for her. You don't have to stay here, Jason snapped. Rob, stay out of this, or what? I asked quietly. For the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. Not of me, but of losing control. Lily grabbed her coat with shaking hands and turned to me. Dad, she whispered, take me home. And just like that, the wedding, the illusion of it, the foundation of it crumbled. But the truth, the real truth, that was still waiting to be uncovered. And it was darker than anything I imagined. Lily didn't say a word during the drive back to my house. She stared out the window, hands clenched together in her lap, knuckles white. Streetlights passed over her face in slow pulses, light shadow. Light again, like she was flickering between the daughter I always knew and someone caught in the middle of unraveling her entire future. When we finally pulled into the driveway, she stayed in the car. Dad, she whispered, I don't understand how I didn't see it. How did I miss everything? I shut off the engine because you loved him. And when we love someone, we give them the benefit of the doubt long after they've stopped deserving it. She swallowed hard, blinked rapidly, then nodded. Inside, she went straight to the living room and sank onto the couch. She looked small, like the teenager who used to bury her face in my chest when she was afraid. I brought her water and sat beside her. After a long silence, she whispered, What else did he tell the coordinator? Did you see anything else? I hesitated, because I had read the entire forwarded thread. I'd been staring at those emails for hours before driving over, and they only deepened the cracks. I retrieved the printed pages from my coat pocket and handed them to her. Lily took them with shaky fingers. As she read, her eyes widened, her breath catching. There was more than just removing me. The bride's father's attire should not conflict with the overall wedding aesthetic. Formal suits only. No casual substitutions. I'd offered to wear the navy suit Anna bought me for our anniversary. Please ensure the father of the bride does not participate in any speeches. He tends to ramble and become emotional. The last speech I gave was at Anna's memorial. Yes, I cried. I would again. Bride's father should not be in the pre-wedding photos. Family formals will be with the groom's side only the groom's side. That one broke her. She covered her mouth, tears spilling over her fingers. He didn't want you in the pictures. Dad, you wouldn't even be in my wedding pictures. I placed my hand on hers. Hey, look at me. She shook her head, sobbing. He never said any of this. He never even hinted he lied. He lied about everything. She folded forward, shoulders trembling, grief mixing with betrayal in a way I recognized too well. I just held her. It felt like holding her after Anna died, another moment where the life we knew had been torn apart at the seams. After a minute, she whispered into her hands, "Why does he hate you so much? You never did anything to him." "I don't know," I admitted, "but we're going to find out, and we would, because the truth was already forming shape. I just didn't see it clearly yet. Not until Noah stormed through the front door an hour later." "Lily," he called out, panicked, having clearly heard something from someone. She sat up, wiping her cheeks, as Noah rushed in. "What happened?" he demanded. "Jason called me, said Dad caused a scene." I snorted. "Of course he did." Lily handed Noah the papers. He scanned them quickly, his jaw tightening with each line. When he finally set the pages down, his voice was ice. "He's a controlling snake," Lily whispered. "Why would he do this to Dad?" Noah hesitated. Then he said the words that shifted everything. "Because Dad knows the truth about his father." I stared at him. "What truth?" Noah sank onto the chair across from us. "I didn't tell you because it didn't feel important then. But Jason's dad, Paul Miller, remember him?" I nodded. "He got fired from Hayes Construction when I was in high school. My company, the company I'd built from the ground up." I frowned. "Yes, for theft." "Jason thinks you ruined his father's life," Noah said. "He's always believed you lied to get Paul fired." I blinked hard. "That's not true," I said immediately. "His father stole thousands from the company-signed invoices to fake suppliers. I had proof. I turned him in because it was the right thing to do. It wasn't personal. It was accountability." "I know that," Noah said. "But Jason doesn't." My stomach twisted. "And Lily definitely didn't," Noah added softly. Lily stared at me, stunned. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because it never occurred to me it would matter. I didn't even know you'd met Jason back then. It wasn't connected, but now it was." Suddenly, all of Jason's behavior made horrifying sense. The distance, the condescension, the behind-the-scenes manipulation. This wasn't about image. This was revenge. A personal score he believed he was settling. I ran a hand over my face. "He's punishing me for something his father did." Noah exhaled sharply. "He's also punishing Lily by extension. That's the part I can't stand." Lily looked nauseous. "I married into this. I almost married him." Noah leaned forward. "Lil, this isn't you. You didn't know, but now that you do, you can walk away." She looked up at me, then red-eyed, broken, but resolute. "Dad," she whispered, "I need the truth, all of it, from your side, from his side, from whatever else is hiding in this mess." I nodded. "And you'll get it. No more secrets." Lily took a shuddering breath. "Then tomorrow," she said, "I'm confronting Jason again." And I knew then the storm was only beginning. because the truth that waited on the other side of that confrontation would shake all of us. Lily didn't sleep much that night. I could hear her pacing the hallway, whispering to herself, rehearsing what she needed to say. Every so often, she'd stop outside my door, as if she wanted to talk, then move on. She was preparing for a battle she never should have had to fight. By morning, she stood in the kitchen, wearing the same sweatshirt as yesterday. Hair pulled back tight, eyes swollen but sharp with resolve. Noah arrived minutes later. He brought coffee on backup. "You ready?" he asked her gently. Lily nodded. "Yeah, I have to be." I offered to go with them. She shook her head. "I need to do this myself," she said, then softened. "But stay by your phone. Always," I promised. They left together, and the house fell into an eerie silence. I sat at the kitchen table, with my hands wrapped around a mug I never drank from, staring at the clock as if I could will time to move faster. But the minutes dragged. Every possible scenario ran through my mind: Jason apologizing, Jason manipulating, Jason lashing out, Jason twisting the truth. I knew his type now: charming until challenged, cruel beneath the polished shell. It took nearly an hour before my phone buzzed. A text from Lily: "Can we come home? We need to talk." Not "I'm okay," not "it's over," just "we need to talk." My stomach twisted. When they walked through the door, Lily's face told me everything. Whatever happened, it hadn't been simple. She sank onto the couch. Noah stayed near her, protective. I sat in front of them and waited, giving her the space to speak when she was ready. "Dad," she began, voice thin, "you were right about everything." Tears welled again, but she held them back. Jason didn't even try to deny it. When I confronted him about his dad, he actually admitted it. He said, "Your father ruined my family, and now he knows what it feels like." My chest tightened. "He said that to you?" She nodded, like it was justified, like it made him noble. Noah scoffed. "He thinks revenge is character." Lily looked down at her hands. "But that's not all." I braced myself. She swallowed hard. "He told me, if I invited you back into the wedding, he wouldn't marry me." The words hung in the air like smoke. For a moment, none of us breathed. Then I asked quietly, "What did you say?" Her chin trembled, but her eyes didn't waver. "I told him a man who forces me to choose between him and my father isn't a man I want a future with." Relief washed over me, but only for a heartbeat, because I could see in her face that something else was weighing on her. "He didn't take it well," she whispered. Noah jumped in. He yelled, said she was embarrassing him, making impulsive decisions, proving she got her father's instability. My jaw clenched. "Did he touch you? Threaten you?" "No," she said quickly. "Not physically. But Dad." It was like watching a mask fall off. Everything about him changed. His voice, his eyes. It was cold, calculated, like he had been waiting for the chance to take her apart, piece by piece. She shivered. "I told him the wedding was off," she said, "that I'd come for my stuff tomorrow, when his parents weren't around." Noah's expression hardened. He told her she'd regret it, that she was throwing away the best life she'd ever get. I exhaled slowly, steadying myself. "You won't regret it, Lily, not for 1 second." She nodded, but I could see the heartbreak beneath her strength. Ending an engagement wasn't easy. Ending one built on lies and manipulation was even harder. It meant grieving not only the man she thought he was, but the life she imagined with him. And yet, she'd walked away. She'd chosen truth over comfort, chosen her future over his revenge, chosen her family, chosen me. She lifted her eyes. Dad, I need to know something. Anything. She hesitated. Did you really ruin his father's life? The question didn't sting. It hurt, but not because she doubted me. It hurt because she deserved the truth, spoken out loud, clearly, and without shame. No, I said. I didn't ruin his life. His father did that himself. I took a breath. He committed fraud. He stole from the company. I confronted him privately, first gave him the chance to fix it. He didn't. He denied it, lied, then tried to make it look like I was the one covering up mistakes. So yes, I reported him, not out of malice, out of responsibility. Lily nodded slowly. Jason said you targeted his family. No, I said firmly. I protected mine. Silence settled again, but this time it wasn't heavy. It was clarity. Lily leaned into me, resting her head on my shoulders, something she hadn't done in years. Dad, thank you for everything, for being here, for not pushing, for letting me figure this out. I kissed the top of her head. I'll always be here. Noah exhaled deeply, tension leaving his body. Well, guess we're canceling a wedding. Lily let out a soft, broken laugh. Yeah, guess so. But the storm wasn't done with us yet, because the real truth, the one still hiding, still waiting, hadn't come out. Not until the next day, when Lily went back for her things, and found something Jason never meant for any of us to see. Something that changed everything. Lily insisted on going back to Jason's townhouse the next morning. She wanted closure, wanted her things, wanted to walk through that door one last time as the woman who chose herself, not the one who let someone else define her worth. Noah went with her. I wanted to go too, but Lily squeezed my hand and said, Dad, I need to prove to myself that I can face him. So I waited at home again, pacing the kitchen like an anxious shadow. Every minute felt like it stretched into 3. I kept expecting a call, a text, something. And then, after nearly an hour, my phone buzzed. Noah, Dad, you need to come now. My heart dropped. I grabbed my keys and drove faster than I had in years. Gravel spitting from the tires as I pulled up to the townhouse. The front door was ajar. Noah stepped out immediately, his jaw tight, eyes burning. Where's Lily? I demanded. In her old room, he swallowed. Dad, she found something. Those words made the world tilt. I pushed past him and climbed the stairs 2 at a time. Lily's door was open. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, a shoebox on her lap, her face pale, stunned. Lily, I said gently as I stepped inside. Honey, talk to me. She didn't look up right away. Her hands were shaking. Finally, she lifted something from the boxa stack of printed documents bound with a paperclip. Dad. Her voice cracked. You need to see this. I took the papers and began reading. What I found made my blood run cold. Invoices, email screenshots, bank transfers, all tied to Hayes Construction, my company. Except these weren't old documents from years ago when Jason's father was caught stealing. These were new, dated last year. Every single forged invoice had one thing in common, the signature. Not mine, not my accountant's, someone else's, someone who had signed my name. Dad, Lily whispered, Jason forged these. I flipped page after page, my heart hammering. Fake supplier names, altered checks, money missing from company accounts I hadn't noticed because I assumed fluctuations were tied to seasonal contracts. Jason had done the same thing his father had, the same fraud, the same theft, the same pattern, and he'd tried to use me as the scapegoat. I found emails he'd drafted, never sent, accusing me of mismanaging funds, A folder of photos showing my signature, zoomed in, copied, practiced, notes about timing, opportunity, motivation. My stomach twisted. He hadn't just manipulated Lily. He hadn't just tried to erase me from the wedding. Jason had been setting me up, preparing a narrative where he was the concerned son-in-law, publicly exposing his fiancée's unstable father for financial misconduct. A perfect revenge arc for a man obsessed with rewriting history. And the wedding, that wasn't about love. It was the final stage of his plan. Marry Lily, become legally tied to the family. Access more, control more. Destroy me completely. Lily's voice trembled. Dad, he was going to frame you. I sat down slowly, knees weak. How did you find this? She pointed to the shoebox. He hid it in the back of my old closet, behind the shelves. I was grabbing a sweater, and it fell. Noah stepped into the doorway. I called the police already. They're on their way. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Not because I was afraid. Jason didn't just hate me because of what happened to his father. He had become his father. Same crimes, same lies, same bitterness, same willingness to destroy others to avoid responsibility. And Lily, she had escaped him just in time. Footsteps echoed downstairs as officers entered the house. Statements were taken, evidence collected. Jason wasn't home, thank God, but a warrant was issued before they even pulled out of the driveway. When the door finally closed behind the last officer, Lily collapsed into my arms. Dad, what if I hadn't found it? What if I married him? She whispered, voice breaking. I kissed her forehead. You didn't. You walked away. You saved yourself. She cried into my chest, shaking. I'm so sorry I didn't see it sooner. I held her tighter. Lily, listen to me. His manipulation wasn't your failure. It was his choice, his darkness, his burden, not yours. Noah sat beside us and wrapped an arm around her too. He fooled everyone, Lil. Even Dad didn't know the full story. We stayed like that for a long time, 3 people holding each other together after a storm we never knew was coming. Later that night, when Lily finally fell asleep on the couch, I stepped outside onto the porch. The sky was clear, stars sharp against the darkness, and I thought of Anna. Don't worry, I whispered to the night. I've got her. We're okay, because trust can break. Foundations can crack. Families can be shaken. But truth rebuilds. Slowly, steadily, stronger than before. And in the end, that truth saved my daughter's life.